Calculator, what are you doing, man?
Man, Mr. 411, we know, first of all, greetings and salutations. I got to get that out there. But man, it is going nuts. As some people, longtime followers of the show, I run a keeper league that I've been in for. That I'm the commissioner of. We've been at it for almost 20 years. I'm talking about one of the first. I think we're one of the pilot leagues for Yahoo when Yahoo was first trying to come out and get
Right,
this
right.
thing going, right? And I mean, it's one of those leagues where it's a keeper every 3 years, and then every fourth year it's a redraft. So every year when it's a redraft, people that are in the playoffs, we have no trading deadline because it is a keeper league. So I keep everything wide open all year. So people that are in the playoffs are trying to gobble up people out of the playoffs, and they're trying to get draft picks for next year. But I have a rule in there that if somebody is trading a good player or trading a bad player for a good player and trading draft capital, they have to pay their next year's entry fee. Uh,
Okay.
so I have to work payment details before I allow the trade. It's been going crazy, man, for one all these past 2 days because our even though our playoffs start next week, pretty much everything that happened in my keeper league, pretty much everybody that's in playoff position has clinched a spot. This week is just more about seeding than anything. So I have all these
Mhm.
people that are no longer in the league trying to make these trades, and again, they're getting draft picks for next year. But again, I got to get payment from the people that because I'm not going to have a person that trades away future draft capital and all of a sudden drop the league and saying I'm not playing next year because they ain't got
Exactly.
draft position. So it's like, hey, you can make a trade for next year, but you got to pay your spot for next year. So that's why it's the every fourth year. If you follow this program and we're still on the air 4 years from now, it'll be like this for the calculator again. Hopefully because again, this league's been going on for 20 years. So I have, knock on wood, it can keep going because I got a good group of folks, and these are some savvy guys, but they can definitely make my life hectic with all the late minute trades that go on. Hey, and Mr. 41, you were part of this league back in the day, so you know how it can be.
Oh yeah, it's
you
fun. I
know.
mean,
So
it was
yeah,
very detailed.
yeah.
A lot of things going on. A lot of
Until
opportunity.
Mr. 411 got too busy for the league, and I understand why he had to step away. But we
Yeah.
miss you, Mr. 411, because you did make that league interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'll tell you what. When things align, Mr. 401 will work his way back in there. There's an opening slash opportunity. Then
Well, you see,
401
that's what I like to
will
try to
try to
tell
find
these.
his way.
Yeah, well, remember before one, it took you 3 years to get in that league.
It did.
And it's all I've been very fortunate that I have a good group, solid group of people that have been, like I said, I think 8 out of our 12 players have been there from its conception, almost 20 years ago. So to keep a solid group, all you have to do is replace people here and there. Matter of fact, I got a new guy that I got in. He joined. One guy quit my league the week before we were to draft. Draft picks, or draft position was set. And I do have it. We have a live draft at my house, so everybody comes. So that's usually when people pay entry fees. So that's where it kind of can get sticky for some people. But he dropped a week before the league started. So I was at my side myself. I mean, it's like it's hard to replace a week before, especially if there's entry fee and it's a keeper league. So they had to take over somebody's roster from last year. But luckily, it was a guy that was with. Matter of fact, it was probably the guy that you took his place when you came in. He's come full circle, and then because he had to quit because of certain obligations he had, well, now a lot of those obligations have passed, so now he's back in the league. So, but regardless, I'm not gonna take up everybody's time because I know this is a show to help people out. But I just want to tell the people, it's like, hey, we see people's dilemmas, we go through them ourselves, so we're just trying to bring real life reality to the podcast, let people know we feel everybody's pain and what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the time of the season, man, where injuries start piling up
Yes.
and all kind of things. So, this is the time where you got to figure out, your fantasy football footing, get your footing together for the postseason for those who qualify, and then for those who don't qualify, you have to start, getting your mind right and game planning for the next season and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how things lie. Because I know a lot of times whenever I was eliminated, I continued to play anyway, just to kind of stay in that groove and get some more reps, if you will. So we'll see how all that go. But we definitely want to welcome everybody to
Everybody.
the 411 Sports World Fantasy Football Show. He is the calculator. As you can tell, he's already busy. I'm Mr. 411. We thank you all for hanging in there with us on a late night special.
Yeah.
We usually call this the coffee and slippers time.
Yes, sir.
When we
And
relax, get
Mr.
our coffee
411,
and our slippers, but we got to wear our 411 gear
that's
tonight.
right. One of the guys in my league, also shout out to the guy who's hopefully listening. I hope he's recovered. He just had hip surgery
Wow.
today. And he is asking me to veto a trade he did because he accepted it while he was on his pain pills this afternoon. And he said he didn't read some of the things. So I'm just saying there's all these crazy things that can go on. So here's some advice that you can always do: not accept any trades if you are on a pain pill or under the influence, because it could turn out bad for you. So a little
Absolutely.
advice for you.
All right. Okay. Well, calculator, are you ready to rock?
I'm ready, man.
Okay. Well, right after this, we'll get right into it.
And we're back.
Yes, we are back. All right. Please do the following.
Subscribe, like, notify folks. And you need to be notified because, unfortunately, this was one of those weeks where if you were notified, you would have been notified that we had a time change because, this gets a busy time for everybody, with the holiday seasons and Mr. 411 and a lot of extracurriculars he does on the side that, he's a busy man as well. So that's why we say notify, so you can know when we can get this information so that you can take advantage of it.
Yes, indeed. And I know something that we need to talk about right away, calculator, is the injury front in the fantasy football world.
Brutal. Even though I was the recipient, because I went up against Kenneth Walker III in two different leagues, and it was one of those early injuries. Although he was he was averaging 13 yards a carry, so it looked like he was going to be on for a huge day. And if anybody saw what actually happened, it's an ankle, but they say it's not a sprain, but more like a strain. So you can say, okay, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. All I know is when they took him out, he tried to stand up on the league. He went rightly down. So that lets me know it's hurt. It's going to hurt, and he is looking doubtful more and more each week because he's going to be in a walking boot for a couple weeks. My daughter, I'm very familiar with ankle injuries and recoveries from because my daughter did soccer and travel soccer, so it's not one of those things where even though you're not 100%, you still got to be able to stand on it. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a running back, and with Seattle in the playoffs, and Seattle has tons of other running backs that can put in. Yes, Rashad Penny's out, but Rashad Penny wasn't a model of health, which is why they kept pretty much all their running backs that they had from last year covered over to this year, in addition to drafting Kenneth Walker III. But bottom line, it's an ankle strain, not a sprain, likely out this week. But I'm going to say they're going to keep them out as long as they have that playoff position, pretty firm control. I have a feeling they're going to keep them out because they know they're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs without their stud running back Kenneth Walker III. So he's definitely out this week. Monitor situations, and when we hit the waiver wire, we'll offer the suggestions. J.K. Dobbins, he was questionable, but the reason I keep him on there is he is likely to return this week. I know we hear that a lot, but
We do.
He's fulfilled his IR obligation, so he can come back anytime. I think however, if he plays, it could be, what they call that dreaded snap count. So he's one of those things that, hey, if you can pick him up and not have to use, and he's still in that IR spot, look at what happens. And the reason this is important is you need all kind of starters on deck. We got 6 teams on a bye this week, Mr. 4-1. That's crazy. One of the few times I can remember this late in the year where they had this many bye weeks. So all healthy bodies could come into it. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Form. Perfect. Or Mr. Producer. Shout out to the producer who got that out there. Joe Mixon, concussion protocol. Heard he has not cleared it, but from everything I understand is he's clearly, but they really like what P. Ryan has brought into and words on the streak. As long as P. Ryan keeps doing what he's doing, they might take a little bit more time with Joe Mixon because, like Kenneth Walker III, Cincinnati's doing really well right now, and they might want to keep him, get those fresh legs in the playoffs. Michael Carter, questionable. I think even if he returns, though, I think it's going to be a reduced role. I think this is going to go with the production of Knight. He's kind of like Knight, the new running back for the Jets. He's taking over the Brees Hall type role, and Michael Carter is going to slide into more like the pass catcher third, kind of like the 10 to 12 touch guy. Because as soon as he got more touches, what happens? Michael Carter got hurt. He's not built for that. So Michael Carter, he should be returned, but he's only one of those guys you need if you have one of those guys on a bye week or you're desperate. Damian Harris has already been declared out for the Buffalo game. Yes, unfortunately, even though he's been declared out, he still has that Q by him name in Yahoo leagues, so you can't move him to that IR slot until the O goes there. So that is unfortunate, but however, I'm a straight drop on Damian Harris, and I know Ramondre Stevenson owners are Ramondre Stevenson. Here's the deal. Minnesota, Ramondre Stevenson even had 2 drop passes, had a fumble. If Damian Harris was in there, Damian Harris is playing that game. However, 97% of the snap count for Ramondre Stevenson. He is going to be on the field, and he's going to be on the field a lot, and an easier matchup this week as well. Cortland Sutton, another early scratch, likely out. That I'm hearing the word doubtful, even there's not official doubtful. When you hear doubtful from the coach's mouth, that's 75% out. So look for him to be out this week. Quez Watkins, I didn't even see when he got his shoulder injured, but he's questionable. Traylon Burks, I don't see him coming out of concussion protocol anytime soon. That was a vicious hit for any of those people that saw it. I still can't believe he held onto that ball, which was amazing.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when he was on touchdown. But I wish him well because he was showing signs of life as being Tannehill's favorite. Burks, hey, dynasty owners, I think you got yourselves a good one right there. He just has to stay healthy. Greg Dortch still out with the thumb, but I think with Hollywood Brown back, I think with Rondale Moore getting healthier and healthier, and and you really don't need to rush people back from injury for the Cardinals. They're pretty much out of the playoffs contention. Dortch just think that Mike Williams, another questionable tag. I don't think the Chargers are starting Williams. Of course, he was fully healthy and he got hurt on his first pass. So your guess is as good as mine. Just again, monitor. Do not count on Mike Williams is what I'm saying. Brandon Cook's calf injury, their season's pretty much over as well. They're trying to hold on to the number 1 draft pick, it looks like, by the way they're playing. So to ensure that, they're just going to lose every game, it looks like. So Brandon Cooks, don't worry about him, but that's good news for Nico Collins owners. You can unleash him because he is the favorite target out there when Cooks is out. Kadarius Toney, hamstring. Again, all those chief receivers, stay away from everybody not known as Kelsey. Although I like old Juju Smith-Schuster every now and then. When he's out there, he knows how to get open. Hayden Hurst, calf, again, even though he's questionable, I heard doubtful on the out of the coaches and the training staff's mouth. So again, likely out for Hayden Hurst. David Njoku, again, people's guess is as good as mine. All I know is questionable. Knee keeps flaring up. All I know is do not turn to Harrison Bryant if Brissett's not a quarterback, because we saw people fell into that with a new quarterback. Of course, Deshaun Watson, I mean, he was just throwing that ball into the ground, it looked like. If it won 30 points for the 30 fantasy points by that defense, they would have lost that game. It was crazy. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo just got word he's out for the fantasy season, not out of the year because he's not going to have surgery for his broken foot. So not surgery, they're going to let it heal on its own. And they're hoping to get him back for the playoffs. They said it's a 6 to 8 week injury. So we're talking about that looks like division round playoffs. But again, we're a fantasy show podcast. So for our purposes, he's waiver wire follow. Lamar Jackson, knee. First quarter. Okay. We hear the week to week. What do I always say about week to week, Mr. For1? Week to week, if week to week is 7 times worse than day to day. So if some people get hurt day to day, they're usually out the next week. Lamar Jackson week to week is one thing and one thing only. They're going to see how good Caleb Huntley. And as long as he's successful, Lamar Jackson's going to be hurt. So that's, so as long as he's out, as long as they're winning, Jackson's out. So just keep that in mind. When looking up, A lot of people are asking on another fantasy show. They had the people saying Caleb Huntley, man, is he worth a pickup? Caleb Huntley is worth a pickup if you want guys that rush and might get you one touchdown. I mean, so if you want that, if you're a guy that was dependent on Garoppolo, go to Caleb Huntley. If somebody had, because I was one of my leagues, Lamar Jackson was my street guy. Fortunately, it's a smaller league with rosters, so I see David Carr out there, and I see Caleb Huntley's out there. I'm actually thinking about him, and I see Daniel Jones out there as well. So there's other guys that can be out there. If you can get a guy that's 15 to 20 points, I say I'm all for it. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, don't plan on him anytime soon, because Caleb Huntley, he showed last year that he can play and he can be successful. Tua, he did get an ankle injury at the end of that game. However, I hear he's more probable than questionable, so he is likely to play. So, but for now, that's what's cooking with the injuries, Mr. 401. So I throw it back to you.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back on the other side, we will then jump into the studs and duds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so hang in there, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. V. All right.
Hey, see? Well, I saw if Lacey knew that was coming on, she might have been able to join us on our coffees and slippers session, Mr. 401. That's her favorite ad.
Part of the show, right? Yeah, that's her favorite ad. She's probably getting her room together right now to be on. So hopefully Lacey, hope you're doing well. We look to see you back soon. PTWithGrit.com. Check out Keith Morgan at PTWithGrit.com. He has a customized system, a way he goes about things to get you where you want to be. So he will assess you, and he will get your feedback, and then he'll tailor a program for you. So reach out to Keith Morgan, and you can see the website going across the bottom of the screen. PTWithGrit.com. All right, calculator studs and duds. Let's see what we got going on here. As soon as the producers get things lined up there. All right.
Well, I know one stud off the top of my head is Mr. Devontae Adams doing his thing. I mean, he is the apple of Carr's eye. Look at that. Top of your list, Mr. 401. And, a little preview. Amon St. Brown was my wide receiver in the mini draft, and he did me good. That's all I'm going to say about that.
He delivered.
Yes, he delivered, along with Jalen Hurts. Mr. went beast mode on what is a very good Titan defense. However, they knew what the weakness was. They knew that the strength of the Titans is the run defense, not the pass. And then he found A.J. Brown, his former team, early and often. And a lot of people don't know, he also had another touchdown that was dropped. It was a slant pattern. I thought he could have turned into a touchdown and we got it. But, oh, my gosh, what happened to the Browns defense? I mean, they showed up. They said they, believe it or not, going against Houston. Houston's defense showed up in that game, and Deshaun Watson did not show up the game. But you know who showed up for the game? That Browns defense, one of the highest scoring defenses of the year in a lot of leagues. 30 points by that the defense for the Cleveland Browns. So yeah, if you had the Cleveland Browns, if you were out there, and we saw it in our own league, Mr. 4-1, if you picked up the Cleveland defense and you lost, that's called unlucky.
So, yes, very, because that's what you want there. You want to hit the jackpot like that.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay, well, let's go to well, let's look at the other side of the fence here, calculator, and that's the duds.
Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah. Travis
some big Kelce, names out here too.
Yeah, and I was about to say, Mr. Travis Kelce, I'm glad I didn't get the number one pick in our mini draft, because you've been the apple of my eye every time I get the number one pick. So the computer gave you to Captain Cosmo, and that's what he got for his first pick. Derrick Henry, again.
I drafted him.
That Philadelphia defense, yeah. Well, I mean, he's going to get the carries unless you're in a negative game script. They win from us. But Derrick Henry, what happened is they were playing 9-man fronts the whole game, and Tannehill could not take advantage and throw it to open receivers. It was just one of those weird games. And we always said Derrick Henry, since he's not going to catch a lot of passes, because he actually had 5 targets. 2 of them hit his hands, and one was a bad target. But the 2 that hit his hands, he just dropped them. So that's why they don't pass to him that often. But yeah, not a lot sniffing the. I'm telling you, when Philadelphia, now that Jordan Davis back, those guys are stuffing the run. T.J. Hawkinson, I mean, for a tight end, not bad if you think about it. Because look, he almost did with Travis Kelce and Hawkinson. But yeah, under 10 points. If you didn't have Taysom Hill at the tight end position, you were deeply disappointed. And Jalen Waddle, oh my gosh. Well, I guess we see what happens when Miami plays good defenses. Hey, Tyreek will always get his because all it takes is one. But Jalen Waddle, man, they were just, of course, Tua was, I mean, he was harassed all day long. So, a lot of that had to do with the offensive line troubles. But yeah, but the thing is, Jalen Waddle is kind of like Tyreek Smith. It just takes one. But if you don't get that one, you're going to get a lot of games like that.
Oh my goodness, yes, sir. All right, well, there's some of our studs and duds right there. Is there one or two other ones that we may have overlooked?
Well, Stephon Diggs, he was in the
Yeah,
stud category. He did his thing on Thursday night. Devontae Smith, again, almost every receiver going against the Titans did well. So that was another one that was pretty well. Tony Pollard continues to show. It was a double running back week for Dallas. They had, Pollard started it off. Zeke finished it up. Both did very well. It's one of those, studs. Terry McLaurin continues to do well with Heineke at quarterback. However, they're on a bye this week. Remember, folks, Joe Burrow, another great game. That people are talking about. He's Patrick Mahomes' daddy now. I've been seeing memes and everything because every time
yeah.
they play, Joe Burrow's winning those games. David Montgomery, another great game with high volume. Garrett Wilson. As long as Mike White is quarterback, Garrett Wilson is thriving, folks. Those are just another few of the Dallas defense. I don't know if I said that earlier when I said their quarterbacks, but another 20-pointer for the Dallas defense. So it was definitely a game where there were quite a high scoring games this week. Hey, why don't we talk about AJ Dillon? He got
Yeah.
Aaron Jones got hurt early on. I know he wasn't on the injury report because he came back, was kind of ineffective, but AJ Dillon just kind of like took over the role and just did his thing. But you know what? I'm going to also knock and tout for the stud list both the Seattle receivers, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I'm telling you, I don't know who is glad Russell Wilson left more, Geno Smith, so that he's able to play, or DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett saying, man, Geno does throw a good ball. And we're seeing what Russell Wilson's doing in Denver. Oh, my God. So, who's that? And the highest scoring running back in a lot of leagues, McCaffrey. Yes, and folks, we talked about Garoppolo. This is going to be McCaffrey putting his Superman uniform like he did with Carolina all those weeks. As long as he's staying healthy. Although what's going to hurt is Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, a lot of people say, well, now Elijah Mitchell's not there. Yeah, McCaffrey can wear down, folks. But I think McCaffrey's going to have enough juice. They lightened the load on him early enough in the season so he can take over, because it's going to be hard to keep winning games when you have what they call Mr. Relevant. The last pick in the last year's draft, San Francisco drafted a quarterback, and he's now going to be the quarterback. A lot of people were saying, oh, man, Baker Mayfield. Oh, got to talk about Baker Mayfield. Got released, folks. Baker Mayfield said he went to the front office of the Panthers. He said, guys, you're not going to start me? They say, you're not going to put me a backup? I want you to release me. And they said, okay. So
Okay.
they released Baker Mayfield. And then I thought the 49ers were going to get him, but guess who has higher waiver priorities? The Rams. The Rams picked up Baker Mayfield off of waivers.
Wow.
So he could be in the mix, challenge Warford to play out the rest of the year in what is pretty much a lost season. But I thought it was going to be interesting. I think, was it a block move against the Rams? I'm thinking the Rams why are they worried about the 49ers? I mean, it's not like the Rams are going to play him in the playoffs or anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I think it was
exactly.
almost like Sean McVay doing a little stick 'em to me because they had higher waiver priority. So Baker Mayfield with the Rams, folks. Hey, that's one of those fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or no, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. You're not gonna fool me a third time, Mr. Mayfield. The waiver wires, going right into the waiver wires. Hey, folks. Okay. I'm going to say something about your list, Mr. 411, and it's because it's been coming out. I've been hearing, like I said, all the reports are coming out. DJ Dallas did get nicked up at the end of the game, and he said it wasn't a high ankle sprain. It was a high ankle issue. So, again, not a doctor.
Okay.
I don't know what issue means from strain, sprain, or whatever else he's using. Travis Homer, he's not on this list, folks. You might want to hedge your bet with an old Travis Homer. Because, yes, why was he inactive last week? It was an illness. It wasn't an injury. So, so they had a healthy Kenneth Walker. They had a healthy DJ Dallas. Well, now those guys aren't healthy anymore. So, if this illness that Homer got, you might want to check him out. Because we know Walker's most likely not playing. So if DJ Dallas coming out and he's not good, we could look at a 60-40 split in favor of Travis Homer. So another guy, Mr. Producer put up those bye weeks, and he said there's a lot of running backs on buys this week, so we need to get as many bodies as yes. Alexander Madison is on the list. No, guys, Dalvin Cook didn't get hurt. These are for people that if you need a guy, if Dallas, we're talking about handcuffing our stars going into playoffs. If you have Dalvin Cook, you need Alexander Madison. Hey, it seems like every time he gets his 3 touches, he'll get a touchdown in there every now and then. So Alexander Madison, Jordan Mason, this is strictly to try and keep the snap count down on McCaffrey. Jordan Mason is the clear backup to McCaffrey in what's going to be a run-heavy offense with a the last quarterback drafted on their team in Purdy, I think is what his name. Kenyon Drake. I'm staying away from the Baltimore backfield because even if J.K. Dobbins comes back, this week it was Kenyon Drake. Last week it was Gus Edwards. So again, but you might need everybody. Corey Davis, welcome back. We saw Mike White.
Welcome.
He likes to spread the love. It might be Elijah Moore one week. It might be like it was Corey Davis this week. Hey, we know it's luckily for me and for some other owners of Garrett Wilson, it's been Garrett Wilson every week. So I like that. Jameis Williams, he was on the field. Folks, I could not believe what I saw. I saw Jameson Williams on special teams as a gunner, Mr. 411. So I think they're trying to get those legs loose. Because let me tell you, if Jason Williams, you compare him with Amon St. Brown, this could be a dynamic duo going forward. Steelers defense, hey, they're looking good, better and better each week as long as they stay healthy. Algier, again, if you need a healthy back, he's the guy to own in Atlanta. Kadarius Toney, I really don't like him as a pickup just because he's still injured, but he's on the list. DJ Chark, all he does is go and catch his bombs, but it's one of those things that if you need bodies, these are guys that can get you by, especially with this upcoming apocalypse for Week 13. Oh, Raiders defense. I like that.
Yeah,
they've been playing well lately.
And again, good point, Calculator, because that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to survive at this point in the season. And so there are a lot of players there that you can take a look at for your waiver wire. Well, so Calculator, what we have remaining for today, right? We have the listener league, and then we have to go through our listener league, and then we have our mini draft.
Mr. 411, you're making my heart speed up a little bit when you talk about the listener league.
Oh yeah. So after this commercial break, we're gonna come back on the other end, and we're gonna jump right into the listener league so that you can spill the beans, if you will.
I'll break it down for everybody on what happened last night.
All right, everybody, hang in there. Give us a minute. You gotta pay a bill.
Hi, I'm Latanya. I'm the owner of Heavily Spell Mobile. I've been in this business 19 years plus. If you're in dire need of a massage for achy muscles, back, neck, shoulder, hip, legs, feet, come on down and schedule an appointment with me. You can't go wrong. There's nothing wrong with taking care of you because no one's going to be able to take care of you. I'm located at 2484 Ingleside Avenue, and that's in Building 8, and that's in Macon, Georgia. Again, you can go online to Heavenly Spa Mobile to schedule your future appointment, or you can reach out to me at 478-747-9231. I look forward to seeing you soon.
And Mr. 41, I got to say, I just get relaxed listening to that commercial. You can hear the music in the background.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
The nice, silky voice. It's like, man. And we say it's an hour massage, but it lasts for the whole week. And that's what you got to love about a massage like that.
Absolutely. Heavenly Spa Mobile, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101A, Macon, Georgia, 31204. Latanya can be reached at 478-747-9231. 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, where relaxation is the key. And we thank Latanya for supporting the fantasy football show and all other shows as well.
Absolutely.
All right, calculator, it is time, my man. Get into the listener league.
Listener league. Okay, I'm going to break it down for folks. Everybody. We were going into Monday night. And if Mr. Producer, if you can pull up the listener leagues, I have the results coming your way. So when the Mr. Producer can pull that up at his thing, I'm going to give the background story for everybody. Yes, the calculator, yours truly, has been killing it with points lately. All right. I have so many points, but I was in fourth place due to bad luck. And I said on the show, you can rewind it last week. I said I needed 2 or 3 things to happen. I needed friend of the show, Larry, to come and beat his arch nemesis, C-Town Ballers. Or I needed old timer. Well, his name is now the Dot, but we know him.
You never know what his name is.
Robert. He was going against Mr. 401 himself, or Lacey herself. We had everybody, friends of the show, playing these other people. And I said, guys, y'all got to do me a favor. I just need 2 or 3 to win. Well, guess what? All 3 were losing going into Monday night, and it did not look good. I had already taken care of my opponent. I scored the highest points in the league. I don't want to, brag or bring attention to myself, but that's neither here nor there. But I had Larry. He was down in the dump. He was down by almost 50 points going into Sunday night. Well, guess what? He had Ezekiel, or he was down by like 30 points. He had Ezekiel Elliott killing it. He had the Dallas Cowboy defense killing it, and he was up by. Hey, I'm pulling you up their thing. He was up by a little over 15 points with Chris Godwin going last night. And Chris Godwin, if people remember what happened, he opened up with like 3 catches in the first drive, and then the game went sideways, and then Otten started catching balls. Well, guess what? At the end of the game, Chris Godwin, touchdown for the game winner. Oh, Holden called back. Okay, so it's like, Larry's going to win that one for me. So I said, I still got one more. I said, I know I can't win it. So I said, what's Lacey? Oh my gosh, Lacey has somebody playing. So I pulled up her score, and I'll be dog if she didn't have the Tampa Bay defense and Rachaad White. People, she started Rachaad White, the sneaky Rachaad White. Well, guess what? On those last 2 drives, who was in for those whole series? Leonard Fournette. I said, oh man, he ain't gonna get it. So what happens? Holding penalty. They're about to run the play. Saints call a timeout. So what? They changed formation, put Rachaad White in there, and I'll be dog. Saints did what they did, got the pressure, dump off Rachaad White, touchdown. Lacey wins and beat Chuck Towns Beast. Look at that score, folks. I got the double bagger. I got the penalty to bring back and let my boy Larry win. And then I got the go-ahead touchdown with Lacey. So, yes, I was hurt because I'm a Saints fan. But I'll be dog if I did not get the winner on that. Oh, my gosh. Is somebody trying to come in, Mr. 4-1? I hear the doorbell.
I guess somebody better go get it. Let's see what's going on here.
There he is.
Oh, Larry, what is happening,
Larry, friend of the show. The one. I talked to Larry earlier today before the production show, Mr. Form, because I had to express my gratitude for his savvy moves on what he did to bring down. Larry has two arch nemesis. We all know about Carter's Peanuts, and Larry vanquished those demons earlier this year. But then the talker himself, C-Town Ballers, look at it right here on your screen. He took down C-Town Ballers and dropped them to the third place. I just want to say, Larry, what was going through your mind in this matchup, especially as Monday night was going on? I got to get to know your thoughts.
I had 15.5 lead. Every pass, every point, I was sweating it and watching the minutes go by.
Yep.
So when it came down to the last play, when Godwin caught the touchdown and went out the back of the end zone, I stood up. I'm yelling at the TV, and shaking my fists at the TV, and they called a flag. I said, "Okay, we got a chance." Finally, they called it back, and I said, just don't let him catch another ball. Mm-hmm. Please don't catch any more passes. And luckily, he didn't. 14.3. So I only won by 1.2.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And I was me and Larry were talking about this, and a lot of times, fantasy football is an infuriating sport, and I'm going to say this right now. The fantasy gods owed Larry something. Larry, folks, for people that listen to the show year after year, Larry had the most points in our league last year and missed the playoff. He played, it seemed like the highest scoring team every single week. It was one of the most phenomenal things you'll ever see in a league, how you can lead your league in points and still not make the playoffs. So the fantasy god said, we're not going to do this to you, Larry, this time. It gave you the victory. You're in the playoffs. You're going to be a tough out. You and Carter's Peanuts are going to be tough outs. And that's why I am so grateful that you and friend of the show and contributor to the show, Lacey, did y'all's job. Y'all took out the 2 and 3 spot. And thankful, I still had to win. I won. Put me to number 2. So I don't have to play anybody. That me and Mr. Foreign get the rest of our lineups this week, our playoff start, and we get to see the bloodbath that is about to happen, because these are definitely, in my opinion, these are the 6 best teams that have been pretty much consistent throughout the year.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think it's going to be a bloodbath, and that's why I'm so glad, even though I've been on a roll lately, I did not want to be playing this week if I did not have to.
And a tribute to Larry. He's AKA Larry Stone Cold, so we're gonna give a tribute to him and his tremendous victory.
Love it. That's what he did to C-Town, especially because it didn't look good when Cleveland was, a smooth move by his opponent, picking up Cleveland and their 30 points. I know Larry was, it's like, man, I got a chance, but hey, Zeke bailed him out with 20+ points. Dallas with 20+. Like I said, me and Larry were talking again, and we thought it was over by Sunday night. I said, no way he's going to get, and he kept getting points. And Matt Ryan, I used the thing, I compared him to the guy in Tin Cup. Matt Ryan just kept throwing the ball, and they kept turning it over. It's like, hey, that's points to be gotten on that. So, but hey, impressive, for Larry to win with Jalen Waddle only getting 1.9 points, Kittle not 5 points, to be able to still overcome the 30. That was a pretty phenomenal victory, in my opinion. So I'm interested. Like I said, I'm glad I don't have to play Larry or Carter's or C-Town this week. I'd much rather play somebody next week.
Yeah, and Larry, what are your thoughts on the league so far this year, and how you had to navigate this season and where you are right now?
The league has been rough this year. I started 0-4. 0-4 was a big deficit to crawl out of.
Yeah, that's huge.
Once Ramondre Stevenson came into his own and he started playing well, then things started turning around. And the Dallas defense has helped me tremendously this year.
And just look at the thing. Look at his points for this year, Mr. 411.
Yeah,
I mean, he has
they're
over
up there.
700 points again. So I mean, fantasy guys were still hurting him because
Yeah.
I'll be dog if people hadn't scored. He's the only one up there with me with 1,700 scored, except for the talented Mr. Ripley, unfortunately. But I mean, it's like we were playing these high teams, and it took us all we could to get where we're. And I'm just saying, Larry, well done on not getting down at 0-4. Larry, we always know Larry, he's a waiver wire warrior. He will work that waiver wire like no one's business. And that's what he does. And he said, he just added his time. He was 0-4. He buckled the chin strap a little bit tighter, did a little Captain America, tightened the shield a little bit tighter to go in that last battle. And hey, he's made the playoffs, and he gets to go against Chuckstown's Beast first round.
Yeah, should be exciting. All right. And Larry, do you mind hanging around with us, and maybe you can assist us in the mini draft this week?
I would not mind at all.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Any more listener league notes before we transition to the mini draft?
No, I mean, that like I said, I said all I need to say because I wanted to. I'm glad Larry was able to join us on the show because I wanted to give him a special thank you. Like I said, back in the day when me and Larry worked together, if there was a victory like that, the Little Caesars pizza pepperoni pizza was on me on Fridays for a job well done.
All right. Excellent. All right. So as we transition to the mini draft. As you can see, there's four team owners there, and all of you all know that's been following the program. We spin the wheel of names to get our draft order, and then we draft in snake format, 1-4, 4-1, so on and so forth. And we draft a quarterback, a wide receiver, a tight end, and a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and a wide receiver. Right?
Yep,
one of each, and a running back.
And Larry, I'm sure you've listened to the show too, but it's the same scoring as the 4-1-1 as our league, where you get those extra carries for carries at the running back position, and even quarterbacks that run the ball too. So you do get that 0.25 extra. So same scoring. And what we're going to do, Larry, is we're going to let you pick for Captain Cosmo. So even though Captain is in there, you're the guest picker for this week.
All right, and as the wheel of names is working, we're going to throw another ad in, and that is Lamont Thomas. Check out Lamont E. Thomas, Infused Cigars, Ash and Smoke Cigars. You can reach him at 518-61-CIGAR, 518-61-CIGAR. That's 518-61-CIGAR, 518-61-CIGAR. Infused cigars, gift sets, cigar box purses, accessories, and more. So support Ash and Smoke Cigars. 518-61-CIGAR.
Mr. 4-1.
Yes.
I wish you wouldn't have went to the ad because people are going to say, how did the calculator get the number one pick?
Behind the scenes calculator. What are you doing back there?
But can I get a verification that this thing spins on its own thing? But yeah.
It does its own thing, calculator.
Yeah,
you're okay. We done enough.
I'm about to say at least. Oh, just a summary. I have a list. Here's a summary page. I am in the lead with 5 wins. Captain is back in 3, 4-1 with 2, and Lacey with 4. So this week 14. And if you see these tabs, I do like just last week. It was a close one between me and Captain last week. It was the tight ends that let us both down. But what helped me out was Jalen Hurts doing his thing. So, but on week 14, I got the number 1 pick. So I will go here and put here, and then we will remove and go.
It's like Lacey Dawson.
Oh, Lacey. So she will get the computer default. So I will put her right here for Lacey. So remove. Oh, 4-1-1. You got last pick.
Oh, wow. I get the backer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Captain, a.k.a. Larry. So I will pick Captain, and I'm going to put Larry in parentheses so people know that we had a guest picker. And 4-1, you're already there.
All
All
right.
right.
We got to do. We have to do the official spin. We have to.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
you're right. We did that. Yeah, because then it automatic does the automatic reset when I redo the wheel.
It's going to be my pick. I predict.
Yes.
All right. It's going to land on me. Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, guess what, Larry? You may work your way into something nice here because the winner will receive the steak dinner, juicy steak dinner from Angelica R. Roberts. Catered food by Angelica. 418-478-396-2810. That's 478-396-2810. Catered food by Angelica. Angelica R. Roberts. Check her out. We definitely will at the end of the season.
So, well, you know, I have a philosophy, Mr. 4-1. Anytime I get the first pick, you can pick it for me, Mr. 4-1, because I go with him every single week.
Travis Kelce.
No, Travis Kelce. I go with Kelce just because of he is, even though it burnt Captain last week, because if you look at last week, we gave him Kelce with his number one pick and he only has 7.6. So it wasn't a big difference. But every now and then he is one of those guys that can truly make a difference. So with and since Lacey's not here, I always give the person not here the top quarterback default rankings, and the top quarterback is Jalen Hurts. So she has Jalen Hurts this week. So Larry, you can pick any quarterback. You can pick any running back. You can pick any receiver or any tight end.
Well, first name on my list will be the wide receiver, Tyreek Hill.
Oh, hey, can't go wrong with him. He's actually won me a couple weeks by himself because he is one of those guys that can just win you a week. So, all right, Mr. 4-1, you got back to back.
All right. I remember Pat Riley said that back in the day. Back to
Yes,
back.
he did.
Okay. All right. We're gonna see where we go with this one. I'm feeling good about. I didn't like what happened this past week, but I have to do it again. They're going against the Jags. Has to be a bounce back week. So I'm going to take Derrick Henry.
He very rarely has back-to-back bad weeks. And again, in our format where you get the 0.25 point carries, and I don't see this going to a negative game script. Jacksonville Jaguars are really bad on the road. So I think this will be a positive game script for Henry. So I think that is almost 20 carries is a good start. And then everything else is just gravy on that. All right. So you got Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, and then I'm going to round it off, and I'm going to get a wide receiver with this pick. And let me go ahead and get this. I didn't do my drafting when I picked. That was for Derrick Henry.
Gotcha.
And this one is for Jefferson out of Minnesota.
Hey,
I'm going to take Jefferson.
That is a fine pick. He would have been my next selection, so looks like I will not be going there. All right. So, Larry, you have everything's wide open. There's really no strategy necessary for the next pick. We'll talk about your strategy for your third pick since you're new to the show. But yeah, quarterback, running back, tight end, everything's wide open for you.
Since you took Travis Kelce early, I'm going to go ahead and take Mark Andrews.
Okay. Hey, after that, it is a drop off. So I think that was a very wise pick.
Good job.
And I know Lacey, and Lacey is a person that she doesn't like tight ends, so I'm not going to give her. I'm going to give her a tight end. I'll just tell y'all ahead of time. I'll give her the tight end. She's kind of like me. She's a wait or late type of drafter. So I'm going to give her the top. See, she has the top quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So I'm going to give her the CD Lamb.
Okay.
CD Lamb from the default list. All right. And I draft back to back. And I'm going to go with a quarterback since they're all. I don't want to be one with the left, so I'm just going to go Josh Allen. And since pretty much three receivers have been taken, so the last one will fall to me anyways. So I don't need to take. So I got to go running back. And hey, I'm going to go with McCaffrey. I like what I saw last time. I'm going to go with McCaffrey. All right. So Lacey needs a running back, wide receiver. I'm going to give her next one up, Austin Eckler. Okay. All right, Larry, you still need a quarterback and a running back. So just to let you know, this is where strategy can come involved. You don't need to pick a running back because 411 already has a running back. So you just go ahead and pick your quarterback since he doesn't. So it just makes so in the strategy here would pick your quarterback because you're going to get the running back you need anyways.
So my strategy is going to be a little bit different.
All right.
Since I like my players on my team.
Well, but Larry, if you want a running back that is on your team, you will get him with the next pick because Mr. 411 cannot pick a running back next round.
All three of us. The other three teams have running backs. So
yeah. So you will get your running back with your last pick. So I would suggest you pick your quarterback because Mr. 411 has to pick a quarterback. So he might get the quarterback you want. He's not going to get the running back you want because he already has a running back.
I believe Kyler Murray is going to have a great game against New England.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So is that your pick?
Kyler Murray.
Hey, well, and because I just have a question. Is Kyler Murray your quarterback in the listener league, Larry?
Yes.
I think Larry has a little something where he wants a lot riding on it. So I see what you're saying, how you want people on your team. He meant his 411 Sportsworld team. I got it.
Exactly.
He got me on that one, fellas. I like that. All right, Mr. 411, you got to get your quarterback and tight end. That was a little tease by Larry himself.
Yeah, very good job there, Larry. All right, so I need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Man, it's not looking too. It's kind of shaky out there in the quarterback world, but I didn't hear. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not hear the name Patrick Mahomes yet. Is that correct?
No, you didn't hear Joe Burrow either, his daddy. So you want the son, you don't want the daddy?
Look, I don't know. This is tough. I mean, one has a Super Bowl, one doesn't. This is tough. And then one's playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know what? I just feel like I'm going with Mahomes.
Okay. I didn't want to talk you out of it. I was just saying, letting you know. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh no, right. That means there was great options out there.
Yes,
if I can choose between the two, I mean that's having
Mahomes, Burrow. That's a win-win situation in my opinion. All right, you need to fill it out with your tight end.
All right, this is the hardest thing to do right here.
It's always hard. If you don't have Kelsey or Andrews, that's where everybody starts shaking their head. But sometimes this could be the winner.
It could be somebody out of the blue. I'm gonna go back to Minnesota and go with Hockenson.
Oh, so you're doing the Minnesota stack, the tight end wide receiver stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to roll with it.
All right, Larry, you get a running back.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, hey, and that's what I like about. And hey, he's about as guaranteed. When you call, we talked about Najee Harris at the beginning of the year, how he was, volume based. You don't get more volume based than Ramondre Stevenson. Again, 98% of snaps last week, and Damian Harris has already been declared out. So we're looking at 80% north of 80% plus in snap count this upcoming Monday night against the Arizona Cardinals, which I mean they're a very average defense against the run. So I think that's a very, very good pick. Lacey, the top tight end, still available. Dalton Schultz is the
There it is.
top per Yahoo rankings in our 411 league. Dalton Schultz is the top tight end. Dalton Schultz. And that leaves me with my last pick at wide receiver. And hey, I got Josh Allen. I will double him up with Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
And work the old double up. So there we go, folks. That is what we're going. And Larry, I think Captain might be sending you a thank you card because that Ramondre Stevenson was that's a nice pick today from the last pick. Oh, and also, I want to add this. I want to ask Larry this question. Is Ramondre Stevenson on your 411 Sportsworld team?
He is.
Okay. Mr. 411.
Just put your whole team on there.
Yeah, you could have just drafted your team there. That is a good looking team. I mean, if Kyler Murray does, I mean, although Mr. 4-1, he took your strategy. He said, I'm going to do Monday Night Madness this time. Mr. 4-1 usually likes to do Monday Night Madness. Larry said, I can do one better. I can do 2 Monday night people and see what happens. So, and going against each other. So no matter who has the ball, Larry most likely is going to be getting points going forward. So I like the strategy. I like Larry going with the Monday Night Madness, and I like the strategy of Larry going with people he likes on his team. So that's confidence. And hey, good luck to Larry. And Larry, we love you stopping by for the show. I mean, it's always good to have people there in the listener league coming. And Ms. Foreman, we got to try and do this more often. Get a guest picker on here to help out.
Yeah,
because I think it was kind of fun. I mean, it's fun having new people on the show. You know, me and 4-1 don't like to play the computer all the time. We like to play with the, live people. But yeah, good. Those are some good picks, Larry, and love hearing what we try to tell people. We sometimes, why do you play this game and you get frustrated? Because it's nights like when you do win, it feels so good. Like I said, this 4-1. I won my matchup, but I was I was going for all these other teams. And you know what?
Yeah.
If I didn't play fantasy football, I would be in a bad mood because my Saints lost for the whole week. Well, you know what? I said the Saints lost. I said, but I'm number 2 in the fantasy 411 Sports World League, and I'm happy.
Little consolation prize, you know.
Exactly.
What I mean?
I've always talked about hedging my bets, and that's what fantasy football can be for some people. It can hedge your bet and not make you feel so bad if your team isn't doing so well this year. If you have a fantasy team, it's like, hey, as long as you don't invest good in your fan favorite team, it could be
absolutely.
Better. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we play. Yeah, it is. It can be frustrating sometimes. Larry, and that's why I love Larry. Larry never gives up. He said, I'm not going to play anymore because I scored the most points in the league last year and didn't make the playoffs. He said, you know what? And then, he was 0-4 this year and scoring points by the buckets. And he said, but you know what? He said, I'm going to keep going, and it paid off. And
Larry closes out, Larry, with the last minute and a half here with some fantasy football advice to all the fantasy managers out there.
Yeah, if there's one bit of advice, what would you give?
My biggest problem right now this week is all the bye weeks. The bye weeks are going to be very, very difficult. You've got at least 6 teams on a bye week going into your first round of the playoffs. So you still have to play the waiver wire. Yeah. You guys had Jared Goff up on the top of your waiver wire. I picked him up last week.
Yeah, you ahead of the game.
Play the waiver wire. You have to play him a week or 2 ahead. Make sure you pick up these players before the games. You can't think of one this week. You have to think ahead.
All right, that's great advice there from a fantasy manager.
Yeah, that's and for a guy that, like I said, Larry's one of the he's where he personifies the waiver wire warrior. He said, and Larry, I don't know if you caught the episode we talked about it was me, Lacey, and 4-1, and we talked about all the times we'd go to lunch at work, and Larry come in with a big smile on his face, and said, Larry, why are you so happy? I made 3 or 4 moves out there waiting for the through, and it's like then I'm spending the rest of the day and say, dang, what is Larry doing? Do I got to try and do a block? God, do I try to do so? So Larry definitely makes it interesting. So yeah, see the waiver wire. Larry equals waiver wire, and he's living proof that even if you're 0-4, waiver wire can let you right the ship.
Absolutely. And we thank you, Larry, for joining us today. Calculate, I thank you for being on. Everyone out there, we all thank you all for watching and listening. Tune in again next week for the Fantasy Football Show. You never know who's going to join us. You never know who's going to be in the building. Larry, you have an open door. We welcome you back as soon as possible.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you.
Night, everybody.